was a good man who just wanted to make the world a safer place for those who were vulnerable. Nick was so articulate and witty and overall entertaining. If he was here right now, he most certainly wouldn't want anyone to be sad. He would want his legacy to continue, and I know that it will. He was known by a lot of names online. Music Biz, MBM, Big Dog, Big Cat, Big Boy, a gentle giant, a big teddy bear, the king, an animal lover, Marty, Nick, a giant, the world's Stratego and Connect 4 champion. He was known as King of the Goblin Slayers. He was known as a legend, a Drift King hero, the King of Akron, an internet trolling genius, a maverick, the best streamer to ever do it, a content creator, an institution to those on the internet. He was a great showman, an enormous presence in any venue, an unmatched entertainer, and a friend. His shoes can never be filled. I went through, and as I said before, I've never met anyone like Nick before in my 30 years as a rabbi. Literally hundreds of messages, thousands of messages, thousands of followers. Catherine writes, Nick was a wonderful person. He is the only reason I've gotten so far in university. He inspired me to never give up because he never did. He had a good heart, and he would do anything to see people smile. Watching his videos brought me comfort and joy when I needed it most. When I go out on my own, I want to be just like Nick. I will never, ever give up because Nick would not. He brought so much light into so many people's lives. I'm sending you hugs. John writes, R.I.P. Nick, a.k.a. Music Biz Marty. You have left us with so many memories and laughs. You will truly be missed by many of us around the world that found you many years ago on YouTube. He could make me smile and laugh out loud. That's a rare character trait these days. To those close to him, may God comfort you. From a fan in California. Another fan in St. Louis writes, if there was a Mount Rushmore of this game, Nick would be there 3 times. While you were funny and entertaining and charismatic, you also had a level of kindness that shined in everything you did. It's truly hard to believe that you are gone, and there won't just be able to tune into your streams and hear your voice. You gave us the gift of laughter, and whether you realized it or not, you were a legend. You will be missed. Sarah, a longtime viewer, writes from Pennsylvania. He'd never admit this, but he brought a lot of people together and created a community. Nick, or Marty, was a natural entertainer and a comedian. It was near impossible to look away from whatever he was up to, and completely impossible to not laugh at his shenanigans. It now feels impossible that he's gone. My heart and prayers go out to his family and to all of his loved ones. Alav HaShalom. May he be remembered with blessing. Truly a legendary figure within a massive community that he created. He will never be forgotten. A human of mythic proportions, a righteous warrior for the innocent. Rest in peace. From a fan in Massachusetts. And the list just goes on and on and on. The memories go on and on and on. Goodbye, charming friend. You made me laugh on my worst days. Now I'm crying my heart out. Baruch Dayan HaEmet. we will meet again. From a fan and friend in Israel. Your videos and live streams kept me from feeling lonely and sad on so many nights. And you always brought laughter and happiness to your viewers. So many people's lives have been changed forever for the better because of you. You were gone way too soon. You will be missed. Rest in peace, the King of Akron. Beth. And finally, yesterday, as soon as I witnessed Music Biz Marty turn a small, lonely, and confused man in Akron into a rock star overnight, I knew that I was witnessing someone who was ahead of the curve, on the top of his game, a true genius and a master of his craft. Nick was a once-in-a-lifetime talent whose life was taken way too soon. Rest in peace. You'll be missed from all over the world. Friends, I tell you that there are hundreds and hundreds of comments like that. All throughout the internet, all throughout different places where Nick touched lives. Sometimes you knew it, sometimes you didn't. But the impact that he had on so many is so great. Wendy, I love that you started to listen to the radio, and Nick loved that you were online with him. You found comfort there after many years. Realizing that some people today lead nonlinear lives, and we have to learn how to accept that. And as one of you said so beautifully yesterday, sometimes we have to learn that we can't fit a square peg into a round hole. We can try and try and try, but sometimes it just doesn't work. And once you accepted that, you could simply enjoy who he really was. And Nick could enjoy who he really was. And for that, we're very grateful. There's never just one way to live our lives. And once you accepted him for who he was, you knew that you could love him, and he knew that he was loved. He was never unhappy with his own life. He loved the freedom. He loved the creativity. He used his brain in ways that most of us never could figure out. He went his own path. Here was a man, even at age 38, who was at peace. And so I hope that we all take comfort in that. He had a huge impact on so many. Sometimes it's not till you die that you understand and realize how great of a person someone was. Here was a young man whose vision was expansive. I truly meant what I said at the beginning, that as 30 years of being a rabbi in Chicago, I never met anyone like Nick. I remember when we buried Hannah. Bigger than life, trying so hard to give comfort, because he always cared about the vulnerable. He always cared about those who needed just a little bit more. We stand on his shoulders now. I was drawn to the world of music when I was thinking about Nick. And I went to one of my favorite musicians, Bruce Springsteen, who often talked about someone who had a huge impact on his life. He always talked about the big man. And those Springsteen's fan knows who the big man was, the saxophone player, Clarence Clemens. And just like Nick had a big personality, so did Clarence. Nick was our big man. Everything he did was big. And when Bruce Springsteen talks about his big man, he once said, the big man was big. Everything about him was big. His laugh was big. His personality was big. His size was big. His problems were big. His heart was so big. Just like Nick. He was elemental in my life, Springsteen said. And losing him was like losing the rain. Bruce concluded, let's hear it for the biggest man you ever saw. See you in the next life. I hope we can take comfort in knowing that while his body gave out, his soul lives on. I hope that we can take comfort in knowing that the big man will always remain big for all of us. And it's our opportunity, it's our hope to reflect on a life, whether it's a few days, a few years, 38 years, or his grandma's brochure in the pocket of the suit from 8 years ago, a long and full life. No matter how much time we have, it's what we do with that time that's most important. We measure lives not in time but in grace, in the joy with which they live and the love that they leave behind. Nicholas leaves so much love behind. And now it's our opportunity to stand on his shoulders, on those great big shoulders of that 56-inch chest, and see the world and help others in some small way. May he rest in peace. I ask that you please rise. El Malay Rachamim Shochen Bamromim Hamsei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Hashchina Im Kedushim Teharim Kezohar Harakia Mazhirim Et Nishmat Nisan Ben David Vavikniki Shahalacha Lolama Bal HaRachamim Yesterehu Beseter Kanafav Lolamim V'yitzror Bitzror HaChaim Et Nishmato Adonai Hu Nachalato V'tanuach b'shalom al mishkavav and omar amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest under the wings of your presence to Nick Biegler, who has entered eternity. May he find refuge forever under the shadow of God's wings. May his soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is his inheritance. May he rest in peace. And let us all say, Amen. In the Jewish tradition, we have one prayer that does not talk about death, but rather reaffirms our commitment to life. We say at the end of a funeral, and we'll say it again at the burial, a prayer called the Kaddish prayer. Kaddish, holiness. There are those who say that the Lord's Prayer is modeled after this Kaddish prayer, because it doesn't talk about death at all. It's actually written in the future tense, hoping for a better world. And it says, magnified and glorified and extolled are you, God. May the one who makes peace in the heavens let peace descend on us and on all the world. And so we say the Kaddish prayer in his honor and in his memory. For the very first time, we will continue to say his name for 30 days during the period of Shloshim at Congregation Am Shalom. We will continue to say his name on Yom Kippur and on Shavuot and on Pesach during the Yizkor service, along all that who have died in this past year, and on Yom Kippur, ending that year. We will say his name time in this year of 5785. And at the anniversary of his death each year, we will say his name. But as we talked about yesterday, you don't need to gather in a minyan to remember him. There are so many ways that we will remember him. When we look out and we see each other, when we make someone's life better, when we lift someone up who needs lifted, when we use the bigness that we have inside of us to help others, we'll continue the goodness that he brought to this world. And so in his honor and his memory, we say the Kaddish prayer. Those online, please join us. Those in this room, please join us. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei kol Beit Yisrael. B'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mavarach le'olam omeh omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal Shmei dekudsha brichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'yimru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort all who are bereaved, and let us say, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'yimru, yimru, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Go your way, for God has called you. Go your way, and may God be with you. May your righteousness go before you, and the glory of God receive you. May God comfort you among all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. And let us all say, Amen. Friends, as you make your way out of the sanctuary today, I ask you to look at the beautiful pictures that are up here in the front, or to see them right, or to look at the beautiful picture of him on the front cover. The great theologians of Simon and Garfunkel said it best. Preserve your memories. Hold on to them. May he rest in peace. Amen.
Dear friends, if we can wait for a moment at this time as the families join into the family room, we're going to invite everyone to return to your cars, but please remain in your parking spots. There's attendants that will invite you into the procession behind the family. So we ask, once you're in your cars, please do not remove from your parking spaces. The procession will begin in just a few moments. We invite you directly to your cars. Thank you.